while we will be doing the 21-day fast with Miss Michelle Singletary. If you have not picked up the book yet, it is the 21-day financial fast. Okay, I'm going to summarize what we talked about yesterday. Man, did Wanda bring? She brought the message yesterday. I've been telling her all day, like, listen, that was absolutely powerful, 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 powerful. So I hope you're able to follow along. If you have not got this book yet, definitely go to Amazon. This is going to be one that you're going to keep on your shelf. This is going to be one that not only are you going to learn it, this is going to be something that you can teach people that you come in contact with. Because what I realized, listen, the world is in hurt because of financial. The world is in hurt because of credit, because of all these instruments that have came out and we haven't been taught how to utilize them or refrain from them, right? It's like any discipline thing. Not everything in this world, okay? Right? Do not conform to the world. Not everything in this world is good for you. And when you indulge in it, especially when you indulge in too much, things happen that God didn't intend for you to happen for you. And I know that he strictly talks about debt, okay? Debt, being indebted to another man, being indebted to someone, and of course, not being a good steward, not paying it back, okay? It is good to be the lender and not the borrower, okay? We talk about all these different things, but then when it comes to actually listening to, whatever your foundation is, okay? But listening to the word, I'm talking to some wisdom here. We surpass the things that can help us in our life, and then we choose and pick what we want, right? It's just like baking a cake. If you're baking a cake and someone gives you the exact ingredients so that cake can taste great like their cake tasted, but you decide to take some ingredients out, then guess what? It's not going to be the same exact cake. Well, that's exactly what's happening in our life. We are asking for things. We're asking for prosperity, okay? But we're not following the foundation. We're not following the word. And then so when we don't follow it, and then things happen, like what happened? Okay, and then we ask for things to be blessed, that we went into a situation or a covet the wrong way. So welcome to the call. Let me get spotlight this here. There we go. Boom. So this call is now being recorded, folks. Like I said, typically we do this call every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But as of this is our second day of the 21-day fast. We're going to go for 21 days straight, as we're going to talk about the literature here by Michelle Singletary. So today is day 2 of the 21-day fast. Yesterday, Wanda covered chapter 1, okay, just telling you what the fast was all about. And so I'm pretty excited to maybe hear some of the stories. You can type in the chat, like, how was your first day, okay? Your first day. I know some of you were probably pouting a little bit, kicking and scratching. Why do we got to do this right now during this season? Some of you are trying to figure it out and say, I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to fast. It's like anything else. And I'm so grateful because when I look at this, all that it's about is building up your discipline muscle, okay? In an area of your life that you need to grow in. The financial fast, typically everybody understands what a fast is, right? You are staying away from something, okay? In the Bible, they talk about the Daniel diet, right? That it's to take you away from meat. Don't eat meat, pretty much a raw diet, fruits and veggies, okay? And, for most of you who know me, I've been plant-based for some time now, okay? And I would get, when I tell people that, what, you're plant-based, that means you don't eat no meat, okay? They're like, that's impossible. No, I can't do it. People will literally say, I can't do it before even trying anything, right? And I get it. That's the way that we are. We don't want to change anything. When we change, we don't change until disaster happens, okay? We don't change until trauma happens. Do you realize that in human nature, right? When is it that we start going, we know that we need to diet or we need to eat well, but when is it that we start eating well? You go to the doctor say, hey, your blood pressure, you got a little bit of hypertension, okay? Your cholesterol's high. You intaking too much of bad fats. If you don't stop, you're going to have a heart attack. Some people go beyond that, don't they? They still do it. They can't stop. It's a program. And for those who've been through the mentorship calls, we talk about breaking the habit of being yourself. We know that is all here, okay? Starting with the frontal lobe, emotional, getting to the cerebrum, where it's programmed into your DNA. And so what we're doing, we got to reprogram you financially here, okay? Just like that diet. But what happens is, it's not until you go have the stroke, the heart attack, or whatever the case may be, and you're like, man, I'm going to get on a diet, I'm about to do this, do that. Well, our finances are the same way, okay? The way that we handle our body, the way that we handle all of our affairs. I used to say things like, how you do one thing is you do all things. And it's true, okay? We got to organize our life together. And Michelle Singletary, she hits it perfectly here. I'm going to talk about the story here. We got to organize our life, okay? And of course, we got to do the things before trauma happens. before you get evicted from your place or lose your home or get your car repoed or whatever that financial situation is. We know what we're supposed to do. Let's start exercising that muscle and doing what we're supposed to do. So day 2 is about a promise of prosperity. Okay, a promise. That means it's going to happen. It said that God promises that we will prosper. Okay, living by the word, of course, right? Following the rules. There's conditions. There's consequences. You see, the great thing is we've been given free will to do what we want. Now, the bad thing is we've been given free will to do what we want. It's like being a parent. I'm a parent, got 5 kids. I got 2 adult children now. Okay. And I get to watch them go through life. And this is my worst. And I say, listen, I give them my suggestion. I say, but you're an adult. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you, there's consequences to the decisions that you're going to make. If this happens, here's what I see happening, right? From my experience. And just like the Bible or whatever your foundation tells you, you can read the parables, the stories. They kind of tell you if certain things happen, guess what? There's some consequences on the other side of it. So it's up to you. Okay, you got free will. I'm not gonna stop you. Free will to go do it. And so that's how it looks in our financial life. We know that we're not supposed to do certain things, or maybe we might charge the card that we can't afford for the next month. We can't pay it off. We're gonna pay it off over 12 months, and before you know it, we're in this entanglement, okay, of finances that you can't get out of. Okay, and this is what happens in this world. So she's talking about this story, starting off in this chapter, of a woman by the name of Juanita. And so Michelle Singletary, she does this. This is like her ministry at her church, where they start this 21-day fast, similar to the Daniel diet. Okay, and I could tell she gets a lot of slack from people. And so day 2 is going to be about not trying to slip out of doing this fast, right? We're trying to maneuver around, okay, what can I do and what can I do, right? Because we feel like we're being punished. So she goes, my wife talked about being yoked. We got to break the bond that keeps you broke. What is the yoke that's keeping you broke? What is the thing around your neck that is dragging you down, that's twisting away? Okay, that yoke, the thing you couldn't stay away from yesterday. Okay, we started our fast yesterday. So you want to know what your yoke is? For those who probably broke the fast, someone broke the fast, right? We know someone broke the fast. It's okay. It's going to happen. Some people have put your own conditions into the fast. You say, well, here's I'm going to do this part of the fast, but this is the part I'm not going to do. Okay. And then at the end of it, you're like, dang, nothing happened. What happened? You didn't follow the entire fast. Okay. Just like a diet. People will ask me about advice and say, hey, Kate, do this. Don't go do some of the things. And then at night, maybe mess up a little bit. And they were like, man, Randy, I did everything you told me to do. And I didn't lose no weight. I said, everything? Yeah, I did everything. Tell me everything you write down, journal, tell me everything that you wrote, like write it down. Oh yeah, it might have this one time. See, when you have to write it down, I think that's what it makes it real, right? Imagine if everybody had to write down your budget, because yesterday you probably wrote down some of your budget, right? And you start realizing, because people would say, I don't have money, I don't have room here. But if you write it down, you start realizing, well, man, actually, I eat out a lot. Man, actually, those Amazon packages are costing me, right? You start seeing where your money actually is going. See, I believe that where the world moved us away from, okay, some of us are old school. Some of us know what a checkbook looks like, okay? Anybody remember checkbooks? I still got checkbooks, okay? And I love to get the checkbooks with the double, you got to pay extra for it, but it gives you the carbon copy, okay? And with the carbon copy, you remember what check you wrote, because why do you want to remember the check you wrote? You want to make sure that you are accounting in your bank account. The world has literally moved you away from accounting in your bank account. You realize that? And now your accountant, we have held our accountant as the bank. The bank is our accountant. So you're letting the wolves watch over the hen. You're allowing the bank to watch over your money, and then you wonder why, if the overdraft account comes, you're trying to look through the account like, what happened? Like they like, you overdrafted, you swiped the card. I don't know, they didn't tell you, because they want you to stay in a state of confusion and not know where your money's going. Like my wife said, 90%, it's in the book, 90% of transactions of what the bank is making from you is coming from overdraft fees. Okay? Yes, the wolves are watching over the hen's den, and you're allowing them to. See, if we go back to the way it was old school, and we get the checkbook. Guess what you have to do? You have to go to the counter. You have to look at what it costs. You have to physically go through a process and write the check out. And as you're writing the check out, you go look in the back of it because you should have your accounting log, okay? And you write down, okay, boom, and then you do the math. And then you say, oh, I got this much money left in my bank account. So you have a physical accounting in your head. That's a process, folks. That is keeping order. But we went away from that. And they know it's psychology. I was studying, you can look on a lot of stuff over the internet. First of all, credit is only 50 years old. And we shifted from, anybody remember, layaway was even a better thing. Anybody remember layaway? There you go, put that stuff on layaway, Kmart, Walmart. Look, I'm going back, okay? School clothes went on layaway during the summertime. Okay, everybody look, yeah, everybody know summertime we had it paid off, but you know, that wasn't a bad thing, was it? Because you didn't get the clothes until you paid it off. So the money was there. And then the store said, you know what? We want more money. How do we get them to give us more money? Let's do charge cards. Okay, y'all watch this progression. So we went from layaways to what? Forget layaways, you want it right now, don't you? Okay, we became an instant world. Let's do charge cards. Okay, the store's like, yeah, it's going good. So now we got charge cards, and then we went from charge cards because Walmart don't have just a charge card anymore, does it? You get you a nice, they said, no, forget it. We don't just want you to shop at our store. We want you to shop everywhere. We want the compound interest. Then they shift you to credit cards. And now you can swipe anywhere in the world impulsively without having to think about it. And that's what the world is betting on for you. Your impulse, your emotions. I want it now. And that's what we're going to break up in this chapter here. So Michelle, she's talking to one of her folks that are going through the 21-day fast. And unfortunately, this woman, she just went through a divorce. Okay. And in this divorce, she was left with the home that she couldn't afford. So she needed her husband's income to afford this home. And so not only did her income go south and she's in this place that she can't afford, she's $100,000 in debt. Okay. Now I know, you know, whether you realize or not, the average American debt today, they say is around what, $30,000 or so. Some people go past that. You go to school. I've heard some people have as much as 200,000, 300,000 in debt. I can't even imagine. Okay. And we always say in this industry, celebrate what you want to duplicate. Well, I look at the world, and you know what we celebrate in the world? You know what the credit companies celebrate? They give you this score. And a lot of people, they hang that score with pride, don't they? Okay. I'm a 700. I got an 800. Okay. And all that says is that you're a good borrower. Okay. You can go more in debt than everybody else. Okay. That's all that says. You pay a lot of interest to these companies. Thank you. Congratulations. They're rewarding you. And you're like, yes, yes, yes. I got an 800. Keep on going, Wasabi. Okay, keep on using the credit cards, because I'm gonna tell you right now what happened to us. Okay, they don't like when you pay off all your debts. They don't like when you get out of jail. See, one of the hardest things that me and my wife did was pay off all of our debt. And it was, when I say pay off all of our debt, I wasn't paying, it was physically paying the debt to them. They didn't want to take our money. They made it a hassle to pay off credit cards. And then when I wasn't even out of the situation, I paid off the credit cards in whole. And the next month, they probably tried to pull me back in. For some reason, I had another bill of interest. I said, but didn't I pay off the whole bill last month? And they said, but yeah, but there was some interest that carried over. So they want to get you got to understand, you think it's small, but they're dealing with millions of people. They want every interest because it matters. It's compounded. And you're a part of that system. So here's this woman, $100,000 in debt. And Michelle is giving her advice. You ever been given advice that you don't want to take? If you know it's the right advice, okay, but you don't want to take it, and then you like mad because you still ain't getting out of your situation. That's all of us. Okay. Some it may be a weight journey. Some it's our money journey. Some it's relationship issues. Okay. For those, you maybe went to counseling. There's all type of advice that people give us wisdom, and we don't take it. So this is what happened to this woman. She goes, I'm in a house I cannot afford. Like I'm drowning, 100,000 in debt. I'm about to lose it. And Michelle goes, get a roommate. And she said, this woman looked at me like I had 3 heads, basically. Okay. She looked at me like she wanted to curse me out. You know, even the rest of the church, you know, when she said it, because she was around, this is the whole community. They look like, what? Get a roommate? Okay. But when you're looking at this thing from a logic, you see, listen, church folks, we talk about miracles. Okay, we want miracles. We want God to come down. go to the credit agency, wipe the slate clean, put the 100K in my bank account. Okay, we want them to move like that. We want a miracle. Okay, and here's what I'm gonna tell you: if you want things done, you gotta. And I'm not saying you gotta meet halfway, but God is gonna meet you in your journey. Okay, God is gonna meet you in your journey. Period. You gotta be moving. You gotta be in motion. You gotta follow the conditions. Okay. And so she goes, get a roommate. The lady looking at her like, ah. And of course, this lady being coachable, she actually did it. But she goes on to say that we have to move from our comfort zone. I remember, my mentor used to always say this. If you're in your comfort zone, you're in the wrong zone. So your comfort zone, that's going to keep you right where you're at. We call that insanity too. If you do the same thing over and over again, but you expect different results, isn't that crazy? Right? We've learned, and it's crazy because we shift our mindsets as adults, but we learn a lot as kids. When you're a kid, if you ever touched the stove, everybody's probably burnt themselves before, right? You touch that stove, you only touch that stove one time, don't you? And then you remember that stove is hot. But why is it that we understand debt? Okay, we can get in debt. You can get out of debt today and get back in debt. It's like burning yourself on the stove again. How? Because we stay in our comfort zone. Paying off the credit card just means I can go buy more stuff now. To some people, they stay in this loop forever. And so in order to get out of this world that you're in, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And so she goes on to say that God promises you prosperity, but you got to stay within his condition, within his will. Okay. We got to exercise like a muscle. So she brought the 21-day fast. So this woman, she ended up, of course, moving in some roommates so that she can get out and have some room. Well, here's what happened to her. 3 roommates later, not only did she get out of debt, she was in a great situation. She did the fast. She started doing the fast twice a year. So I want you to think about this. When I heard that, it's like twice a year. So we're going to do this for 21 days. Let's say after 21 days, some people on here are going to save $100. Some people on here are going to save $200. Some are going to save thousands. Okay. But after 21 days, you're going to see something that's different. Okay. Whether it's a small amount, it's going to be something. So if you say, let's say $250, listen, the average American only has $1,000 in their bank account, 76%. So if you've shown that you can save $250 with this 21-day fast and it doesn't kill you, okay, you survive. Now you know in your head, listen, I need to save up $1,000. I need $1,000 because I need whatever the business you want to start, the investment you want to do. I need to do this fast 4 times. So when I heard this message, I said, man, this is like exercising. If I want to lose pounds, I know that, okay, I start a diet plan. I go to the gym. If I go to the gym for 1 week and I realize I lost 2 pounds, what am I to do? I repeat it, okay? And what we're building up, first of all, showing you the things that you don't need, okay? Limiting you from consumerism, from what the world got you into. The world got you into consumerism, okay? And unfortunately, whether you know it or not, you have went against, for those who have a Christian foundation, some of the words in the Bible. A lot of other foundations say the same exact thing, okay? When it comes to providing wisdom about finances. So I love it because she goes, this woman began to budget and bring some order into her financial life. And here's what I thought, okay? There's a book called The Slight Edge. I might have got our next book. But what I know is the slight edge, there's small things that you're doing in your life that you don't realize are impacting you good or bad. Okay, when people get in their situations, all of a sudden, man, because you make it an emergency. I'm getting evicted from my home. Right? I got evicted from my apartment when I was a young teenager, 18 years old. I was a teenage dad. I remember I had to move back in with moms. Okay. And if I really look at my situation, and I was 18 years old, going on 19, I remember my wallet, I was cashing my check, and in between that store and me heading to go pay my rent, my wallet was lost. Now I can say I couldn't pay my rent because I lost my wallet. But really, what's the truth? Okay. That's me saving face, young age. That's all that we know as human beings. We save face. But what's the truth? Yes, I did lose $400. I was living paycheck to paycheck. The truth is, I still wasn't handling my finances correctly because I should have had some reserves in my savings account. Right? My life should never be dependent on a future paycheck. Think about that, because if that paycheck doesn't come, your life is done. Like that portion of your life is done. I gotta go move back in with someone, or I'm getting evicted. I have nowhere to go. So we put ourselves in emergencies for no reason. So this is why it's important. All right, simple advice. Everybody on here, if you don't have an emergency fund, your first thing I want you to do is get $1,000 emergency fund. This is going to allow you to have that emergency fund. So get your affairs in order. Budget, because a budget is going to make you aware of where you stand. Some of us think we're operating when we're making so much money. And some of you are going to be mad. Some of you are going to be very mad at yourself because you're going to budget and you're going to say, where did my money go? Some of you are making 60, 80, 100, even 200,000 a year. And you look back and say, I only saved this much. I should be saving 120,000. Where did my money go? But by you budgeting, you're going to become self-aware. So she said, I've learned that when our finances are in order, every aspect of our lives are in order as well. How you do one thing, you do all things. And let me tell you, let me go ahead and Wanda's probably mentioned before. I have a little issue, okay, and I'm working on it. My organization on my desk. All right, when I come to my desk, I have this problem with, I don't know how I do. I'm looking over here like, Randy, what are you doing? Okay, books everywhere. So right, there's certain things, and I'll tell you, I'm just confessing to you, okay? I will, just up like the slight edge, allow some things to get out of order till it's all out of order. But I recognize it, and at some point, I don't let it get all the way to the right? I bring it back to the baseline. And that's how our finances get. When you're not taking account of what's in your bank account, what's happening, your life is getting out of order. My desk not being organized, my life is getting out of order. So we may need to organize some things in our life to get everything back on track. And she goes on to say, listen, this is all scriptural. Everyone knows King Solomon, one of the richest men in the world, okay? He asked for wisdom. Money is the answer for everything, Ecclesiastes 10:19, okay, for those who want that scripture. Listen, people say money doesn't matter. It absolutely does. If you don't receive money today, how do you pay your rent or mortgage? It matters, doesn't it? And if you don't have money, you can't pay for your car, kids' college. Yes, money matters, okay? And that's what she's talking about here. So we got to put our mindset, a little bit and understand we got to be aware of it. Now what she's talking about is the commandments. Unfortunately, we are breaking commandments and not being blessed along the way, and we're wondering what's happening. Let's talk about this. Some people are going to go in debt. Every year, you're going in debt. I'm gonna just say it, okay? This season, people are going to go in debt again or stay in debt, right? Maybe you just paid off the credit cards. Maybe you don't even have the credit cards paid off, right? We're in a pandemic right now. And unfortunately, I don't know if you realize we are programmed to always bring gifts of some sort. Okay, I was looking at her. She was talking about one of the people taking their kids to a birthday party, and they were saying, "Well, what do I do? My kid wants to go to the birthday party." And so what she said she did was, instead of going to the birthday party, they stayed home because they didn't have a gift. And Michelle goes, "Why'd you do that? You could have easily, he could have still went to the birthday party, and you can explain to them what you're doing. You don't have to take a gift." But we've gotten into this world that we must always bring gifts for everything. Okay, even from the point of making us indebted to something, we will spend our last to go buy a gift to participate, knowing that could allow us to get out of debt. And so this season, there are going to be some people that are going to go into debt just like that. Okay, he says payday lenders. I'm going to talk about payday lenders, payday loans, credit cards, all of that. So how many people you kind of feel like, man, like a pressure on you to go buy some things for the kid? Listen, I was that kid. I remember popping with my mom because I wanted the brand new shoes and she just couldn't afford it at that time. And I remember just having a fit. Nowadays, as an adult, I look like, what was you doing as a kid? And as parents, my mom taught me great lessons. Listen, I'm glad she didn't get it because she didn't have it. She could have went and got it. She didn't have it like that, and she kept the money she did have. Some of us as parents, we're going out on a limb and we're allowing our kids to control our finances. Your kids are your CFO. Okay, they get they put the pressure on you. You go buy the $100 shoes, the $200 shoes, and you indebt yourself. And then she talks about all the instruments that are around you that makes it easy for us to continually get more money. Anybody remember the payday loans? Thank God that we took those away. Okay, I'm gonna talk about something. I'm gonna talk about something that was kind of brewing me, and I had to just pray it away. When the payday loans were here, I remember that being a cycle in my family. What is a payday loan? And back in the days, that if you wanted to go get money, you would have to go show them your pay stub. They would see how much you make, and they would say, "Cool." They would front you the money. Okay, we're gonna front you the money just for 1,000% markup and interest, no big deal. Okay, we've now put regulation into effect to help because they were preying on the poor. That's what it was. It's preying on impoverished people. And so these pagans, they will give it to you, boom. And then guess what? Now you're in this bad loop where you working for future. You didn't already spent your 2 weeks paycheck. You're a month behind in your real paycheck. Now you really don't have a room. And then what would they allow you to do? Okay, let me tell you what they would do. I'm gonna give you, they would say, oh, you can't pay it. They would know it, just like the overdraft fees. Okay, everybody got their game. Understand, you're the product. Okay, so you would come in there, they know you can't pay it. They know this, hey, what's going on? It's gonna be $50 to extend it to the next week. Now you didn't expect it to, and all they're doing is they're making more money, they're compounding it, more money, and you're being drained. And you're going in debt. And you're breaking what the word says, because the word says don't get into debt that you cannot pay, right? It says that, but we do it anyway. Some people will argue this season about, buying the kids gifts. Okay, listen, I'm gonna say it. Some people are gonna argue this season, I want to have a good Christmas, because Christmas is not about gifts, but some people are gonna argue, I want to have a good Christmas. I know I'm stepping on some toes right now, but I want to break this. Okay, credit cards are maxed out. Okay, barely got the money. But you're gonna go buy the PS5 or whatever the thing is, where the PS5 could have paid off a credit card, just like the Bible says to do. Okay, scripture. Do you really think that God wants you to go in debt for his birthday? Question. Logical question. Do you think, because it speaks against it, right? Do you think God wants us to go into debt for his birthday? No, probably not, huh? Nope. I know I'm stepping on toes. I'm gonna stop it right there. I know I'm stepping on toes right now. I'm gonna stop right there. But I want you to think as someone break it, okay? Because I know the pain that you have to go through, because I went through the pain of being in debt. I know the pain that it bears, okay? In your marriage, okay? In your household, okay? Your energy when you wake up, your stress level, your anxiety, picking up your, listen, some of you don't pick up your phone because you know it's a bill collector on the other end. Oh, don't take that one. Right? You ain't picking them up. You got anxiety when the phone vibrates. Oh man, yeah. Because every time the phone, now remember this. We just did the talk, breaking the habit of being yourself, right? All this, remember we talked about the middle brain, the emotional brain? We are triggering, okay, emotions. We are reliving that anxiety of our debt that is hunting us, okay? So understand, it causes stress. So we got to just do the things we're supposed to do. So here's what she breaks it down. You breaking commandments are keeping you broke. That's what she goes and say. All the things you do or have done that have prevented you from being prosperous. She says, I want you to journal. So this is an assignment. I want you to journal all the things you do or have done that have prevented you from being prosperous. This chapter is going to be all about your awareness. Okay, I want to make sure you're doing these exercises. Make sure you're doing these exercises. This is the only way that you're going to break out of this. Then she goes, which of God's commandments have you broken that have literally left you broke? Okay. Or which commandments did you ignore that robbed you of your financial peace? Okay, and then I'm going to break this down because it's just a perspective of thinking. I was like, she says, God says, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. I said, okay, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this one? And then she goes, listen, she was like, one day she would talk about their overflow room. So she was in a big church. And unfortunately, they were always late. So they were the overflow people, always in the other room watching it through the TV. But she's like, every year, there was only 1 year that they would be able to be in the sanctuary. You know what day that was? Christmas, right? And she said people would take the time off to go shop for Christmas. Not only are you breaking the Sabbath, okay, and not going to celebrate, okay, you're going out to shop and in debt. Think about it. So I'm like, wow, that's a perspective. So we go out and we go buy things we can't afford anyway. The second one, she goes, honor your father and your mother. Man, some of you parents are going to testify on this one. Okay. Honor, some of you are going to testify on your own accord. Okay. Honor your father and your mother. Exodus 20:12. We're in a generation now, of course, especially with what's happening, where kids are having to live with their parents. Listen, it's hard out there. Rent, right here in Frisco, for example. My daughter's 22 years old, and I had her with me for a little bit. Man, the rent, $1,000 a month, okay, minimum here in Frisco, 1,000. The lowest you squeak in 800, 900. I remember being a young at 18, 19, it was like $400 a month, right? You can go find a one-bedroom apartment, be fine. Nah, not in this age, y'all. It ain't happening. Okay. Forbid you in New York or California. Okay. People are doing stuff that they don't want to do, but they have to do because they can't afford it. Well, think your children, okay? And one thing that I try to impart in my household is financial or fiscal responsibility. Financial responsibility, okay? If you get in a situation, it's because there's something you didn't do financially, right? We have to admit that. There's nothing that came that just shocked you. It's whatever you've done. And so she goes on to say that we're living in a boomerang generation where if our kids make unwise decisions, maybe with their money, they have to move back in with their parents. Okay, that happens. And when your child moves back in with you, here's what ends up happens. Now, she's saying that they disrespect the parents because they still don't manage their money right. They move back in. Now they don't have no rent. They don't got to pay for food. They don't got to pay for utilities or anything. But they're still going out to party, mismanaging their money, right? Not saving up a dime. Okay, not in this household. Okay, I love my babies. They saved. I got my babies to save a lot of money. Okay, on their own because that's you exercising the muscle. You get them to exercise a muscle, they'll never stray from it, right? You create a floor. They've learned how to save 5,000 or 10,000. That becomes their floor, their comfort of where I don't want my money to go lower than that. If you ever saved up 10 or beyond, trust me, the higher that you save, the more your floor is going to raise up. It's just like fitness muscle, okay? But what he found is that these kids are moving back in, they don't have any bills, and they still disrespect their parents by still not managing their money correctly. That's not honoring your mother and your father. I said, wow, that's a good perspective. I never looked at it that way. And so as parents, guess what? We are charged, okay, to teach our children. Listen, no, okay, I'm going to keep you accountable fiscally, financially. Okay, you're going to save money. Okay, and I'll tell you the rules. This is what I applied in my house. Okay, I would do an account check. Okay, in my house, let me just tell you what I did in my house with my daughters. I said, listen, you don't got to pay no rent. You don't got to pay for food, nothing. Like I wanted to make sure she was good. I said, but I got one request. Okay, I'm gonna check your account every week, and I just need to see your account is moving up progressively. And the first goal I had for her, I said, listen, first, I need you to save $1,000. Boom, she hit it. Okay. Next, I said, I need you to go 5,000. That was the one. Took some time, some little trends. Okay, she hit it. Okay, and she hit it in a good time. She was, in less than a year's time, she hit $5,000, which was great. And then, of course, I said, now you're going to do this over and over again. This is what life is going to look like. And then you're going to be able to invest. And so these are principles that we can put into our children. Listen, if you don't save here, if she didn't save, you're going to be paying me rent. You're going to be paying me for all. You're going to have to start buying food. You're going to pay a portion of the utilities because I'm not going to let you be comfortable. See, the problem is we move back in with our parents and we get comfortable. I said, man, you kicking up your feet like you're going to be here for a while. No, we gotta set our kids up so that they can be right for themselves later. Okay. So let's go on further. The next one, she says, God says, you shall not commit adultery. Boy, start getting serious. Okay. But let's talk about this. We're having real conversations here. This is things that are happening in the world. She said, I wonder if folks really understand that committing adultery, that there's a high price to pay for indiscretions. Okay. Broken households, single family homes, and someone or both are left with the bags. It's very expensive. Okay. And so she goes on to say, she just gives the research. Divorces in the United States right now cost $112 billion each year to taxpayers. I'm like, whoa. But then she goes on further to say, listen, and she points out, and I know there's probably some more statistics we can look up, but mostly because of the structure of the home, okay, the matriarch, patriarch, okay. Studies have found that after divorce, women experience a 27% decline in their standard of living. Okay. Most of the time, unfortunately, it's the woman that is taking care of the home, taking care of the kids after, destruction has happened in the home. And so when we look at things like this, of course, and depending on how often it's happening, it is destroying communities. Okay. When I say destroying communities financially, right, that's huge. And so this is just something to be aware of. This is all that she kind of hits, just making you aware, right? It's awareness and understanding and knowing what you're fighting for. The next one, God says, you shall not steal. Now this one, easy. Talks about the IRS on this one. Listen, she just, small excerpt. She goes, a lot of people think there's nothing wrong with not reporting all the income, okay? And at the end of the day, I look at it as energy, karma, right? Just do the right things, period. And I'm gonna leave that one there for the IRS. Okay, God says you shall not covet your neighbor's house. This is where first thing I thought about, or you should not covet, let me say the whole thing, covet your neighbor's house. You should not covet the neighbor's wife, male, female, servant, ox, donkey. In these days, will be cars, okay? This is biblical. So don't covet any of their possessions, anything that they own. What does that mean to covet, right? It means to desire something that they have. You understand that? So they just got man, the neighbors got a brand new car. Oh my goodness. And so we call it keeping up in the Joneses in this state. Okay. Oh man, the kids are all wearing Jordans. And so in the name of you keeping up and staying with everybody else, you go buy those same things. You go buy the house or the car that you can't afford. Okay. You go buy the shoes that you can't afford for the kiddos. You go buy the PS5 because why? Because your kid came home and said, man, everybody's getting a PS5. I want a PS5. Listen, I don't know if y'all felt it. Listen, it happened in our household already. And I don't care how much money we make. See, one of the things that I'm very strict on in our house, okay, gaming system, first of all, I'm a little old school, but I don't believe, first of all, these gaming systems have gotten out of control. $500 minimum, but $1,200 for a PS5 today, y'all. Do you realize that they are testing the waters? These corporations are testing what you're willing to pay, and we're paying it, right? iPhones, okay? And listen, I'm guilty. iPhones. What did I pay for it? $1,500 for an iPhone. You know what they told me when I went in there and I got the $1,500, right? We paid full out right there. We bought it right then and there, both phones. Because the first thing they told me said, no, you can go on the payment plan. I said, man, what's the catch? There's a catch. What's the interest rate? Nah, I don't want no payment plan. Because they're keeping you in a loop. So now you can go out and buy the phone. I forgot what they had me do when I bought the phone right out. They gave me a hard time to buy the phone right out. They wanted me to finance it. Okay? They don't want you to buy it right out. So phones today, everyone walking around with their phones, you best believe they're financing it. If 76% of people in the world today have little or less than $1,000 in their bank account, best believe 76% of people walking around with a finance phone. Okay? And they refinance every 3 years they refinance, or every year they refinance it, they upgrade. Wonder why we're staying in debt. Okay? Why? Oh, because they just got the new iPhone, so I got to go get the new iPhone too. My son, he came home, he asked my wife for a PS5. We had that conversation. Said, we don't do that in this home. Okay? You got we're going to keep you focused on school. Okay? You have a gaming system already. That's good enough. Right now, I'm teaching my son about investing. Okay, some of the things that I do today, I wish I would learn early. Okay, could have saved myself millions early. Okay, so when we covet against things, think about it. We do things because other people are doing it. Your kid comes home, man, mom, dad, all the kids got it. Everyone's got it. My best friends got it. We can actually pay together. We can be online together. You don't get it for me, and whatever story they're going to give you, right? And what do? That's your baby. That's your baby. Okay. Let me get my baby. Let me go in debt for my baby. Because if I go in debt for my baby, okay, what you're not seeing is years from now, on that same credit card that you're paying off, okay, with all the interest you paid to the credit card, you could have paid for college fund. Let's talk about real conversations, right? I went and looked up. I said, man, who was PlayStation? See, the last PlayStation I had, I remember, I was PlayStation my time. Maybe my mom brought it for my brothers. That's when it started getting silly. And I thought $100 was silly. because I was in the Nintendo stage where it was like $49.99. You get a Nintendo. Okay. Then they stretched it to $99, and they stretched to $199. Now they stretched to $1,000 for game system. I just lost track. I just be talking, lost my train of thought here where I was going to go. I just lost my train of thought. I had something I want to share with you guys. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, company. So yes, so we go into debt. So Sony, this is what I'm talking about. I looked up who PlayStation 5 was written by, was made by Sony. Okay, and some of you may not know we're quick to go be consumers of a company, but we're never want to have ownership. We're consumers of a company, but we don't want ownership. Here's the crazy part. People right now are spending $1,200 to buy a PlayStation 5. Do you know how much the shares cost for Sony? $92 a share. You can buy 12 shares. That's a lot of shares. Listen, that's a lot of shares. That is going to be impactful. You know why? And what people don't know is that because in the next 4 years, there's going to be $26 trillion of money creation in the next 4 years. That means stock markets are going to go sky high. That means the cost of goods and services are going to go sky high. Okay. And while people are buying these PlayStation 5s, if you invest in the stock, S&E, for those who said, man, let me really go look at stock. S&E is the ticker. Okay. That stock really is going to go up. You know how? Because that stock went up from the end of this year from $50 to $92. Whoever invested in that stock doubled their portfolio just about. You could have went off. Remember, we talked about Robert Kiyosaki. Buy the asset, get the asset to pay for the expense. Okay. Hey, we can go buy some shares of Sony, and when Sony starts paying me enough to go buy you a PS5, that's when we gonna do it. We gonna save up with Sony, and when those dividends add up, then we can buy the system. Okay, being kind of funny, but for real. Okay, so don't covet things. So don't feel the pressure of going into debt because other people have something right now. Because what we don't know is their story. We don't know that they went into debt to do exactly that. We're buying the opinion of someone else. We're buying their lifestyle. They're putting everything on credit cards, charge cards, maxing out everything to look good in front of the Joneses. Look at my car. Look at this. Just like the story, this other book I'm reading called The Wealth Choice. He talks about his good friend. She makes $60,000 a year. She has a brand new Lexus. She has a Chanel bag. She has some high expensive shoes on. This woman looks like she's a millionaire. Only makes $60,000 a year in debt. Net worth only $20,000. Okay, you understand? This is how people are living. They want to look rich or exhibit what they think rich looks like. And so that the world will only show you. Okay, only 2% of people look extravagant. Okay, or millionaires will show extravagance. Okay, the big stores, the vacations. Not a lot of people are really doing that to become millionaires. Okay. And it's funny because I remember me and my wife, we just went to Vegas this year, okay? And just for the first time, I just went to these high brand stores. And it's crazy what people pay attention to. This whole time, I love investing. But that's what we pay attention to because that's what the world has sold us, consumerism. We buy the Balenciagas, the Gucci bags, the Chanel bags, and so forth. And we think that's what rich looks like. That's not rich, okay? It's not rich in a lot of sense. First of all, it's not rich to go into debt. The next thing she talks about here, that was pretty much the last one, was basically not coveting that. That makes a lot of sense. When we think about our whole life, I want you to think about every decision that you've made. For example, that your credit cards have a balance on it, okay? And let's say you go out and you buy something that costs $200. Why would you do that? Why do you do it? I want you to think about the thought process. This is what we're going to journal, okay? Because we're going to make ourselves aware of why we do certain things. And you're going to realize it's happening from you had a lack in the past, or the pressure is on you because other people are doing it. Well, I'm going to buy gifts this year and I want to make sure everybody see all these gifts, okay? So my kid's not the only one left out looking like they didn't get nothing for Christmas. Me and my wife were talking last night. I love in this area that we live in Frisco. There's birthday parties. Y'all remember at birthday parties, you would go there, you see the kids, they have all their gifts. They start opening all the gifts in front of everybody. Okay. Oh, I got this, I got that. So what is that exhibiting to the other kids, right? Think about it. They're opening up all these gifts in front of the other kids. So now that kid, their birthday come, they have an expectation. Man, I can't wait. My birthday's gonna be just like that. They are now coveting the gifts that other kid got, whether they know it or not. Kids don't know better; they're a child. Okay, but these kids open up the gifts, and my wife said something powerful. She said when we go to birthday parties here in Frisco, one of the great things that they do here is they take the gifts. If you bring a gift, they take the gift, they put it away. They don't open up gifts. Right? It pushed pressure on people. Like this season, do you realize that the highest rate of suicide happens during this season right now? Okay, money, finances, the pressure, and we can just stop it right now by just being the person that calls it out, calls order. Some of us we've allowed consumerism to be a tradition. You understand that? We've allowed consumerism to be a tradition for us. I promise you, Jesus doesn't want you to go in debt for his birthday, okay, or anything, right? It's a part of scripture, period, right? If anything, he says you should be the lender and not the borrower. We should be good givers. Okay, we talk about all these things. It's written already. You know, she goes further on to say that, and I forgot to mention the first one. People will roommate together, boyfriend and girlfriend. Okay, and of course shacking up with someone you're not married with. We all know this scripture. We all know this, right? Okay, but what happened? He says we do it for our own selfish wants. Well, I need a place, so let me shack up, and so that we can split the rent. And then when things don't go right, we're like, what happened? Well, you didn't follow the word. You didn't follow the conditions, right? There are conditions and there'll always be consequences for your free will, for the things you're going to do. And so I wrote it here. Like if we want prosperity, because prosperity is a promise. He's going to give you prosperity. But you got to follow the conditions. You got to follow the commandments. You got to it's like if you break the law, you can expect to probably go to jail, right? It's like anything else. It's a law. Well, guess what? If you don't do the things that you're called to do, how can you expect to get any blessing? Okay. And we're talking about doing the work for your money work. So we do all the other things for our spiritual growth. Okay. But what are we doing for our financial growth? That is also a part of our spiritual growth. Okay. That arm, we miss that arm of our life. We don't talk about that arm of our life because it's a sensitive subject. Right? When we talk about money, people don't want you in their money. Hey, get out of my money. Get out of my bank account. That's a sacred thing for us. But in the time that we're in now, that's the attack on families. That's the back door on families. That's the back door on divorces. That's the back door on single family homes. Okay, that's the back. You understand what's happening? This one thing is causing chaos, and you're distracted and you don't see it to the form that you can't even break it. Some people can't break it right now. They're still going to do what they do. I don't care what it says in there. It's here. And man, I know that we're going to break. We're going to break this thing. You understand? We're going to have some families that are free. We're going to have 100,000, if not more, families that are free from this consumerism spirit. Okay, I promise you. And all that we have to do is become aware. So let me just give you an assignment so we don't go too long here. Of course, she talks about all the testimonies. You know, this one testimony, this lady named Michelle, or no, she said to Michelle, this lady said she had an aha moment because she would always say, I feel like a failure because I couldn't afford to buy a home. Because some of us, we have different, and I don't know, have you ever looked at something and said, why can't I get, like, because we're coveting, we're looking at other people. Remember, comparison is a thief. It will rob and steal you of your joy. It will rob you and steal you of your joy because you're comparing yourself to someone's situation and you don't know what they're doing. Man, we live in the same neighborhood. We have the same job, right? You're comparing yourself. Let's say you know someone's situation and you're like, how are they doing all this? Then you start questioning yourself, what am I doing wrong? They got the new car. They got 2 new cars. Kids they got all things. What am I missing? And you don't know their story. Okay? And we got to break that cycle. And so in this testimony, this woman goes, she thanks Michelle because she used to feel that she was a failure for not being able to own a home. She says, that's not everybody's calling, first of all, okay? It's for some people, not for all people. Homes do build a majority of wealth in America. So you do know this. how we are programmed. Okay, if you do buy a home, simple advice: if you do buy a house, don't buy a house that's going to put you in debt. So here's my rule: if you can buy a home and only utilize 10% of your income for the mortgage, that's powerful. Okay, I would say the max 30%. That's a rule. Your living expenses shouldn't be more than 30% of your income. That's a rule. Okay, I live by that rule. My living expenses will never be more than 30% of my income ever. And if I can live on less or stay living on less, I'm gonna always save more and invest more. Okay. When you start making more money, I want you to get into the exercise of diverting the money to investments instead of diverting the money into expenses. Okay. If you're whatever you're living on right now, pause it, live on that, and continually make more money into your money and start working for itself. And so this woman says the pressure was basically on her that she wanted to buy a home. She knew she was supposed to get married, have kids, have the good job, have the home. That's the American dream. Okay, that's what's been sold to us, the American dream. Why homes? Because you're gonna pay the mortgage, and the banks, the wolves are watching over your investments. Okay, you're paying the banks the money, and then over 30 years, whatever that home is worth, that's your net worth. But here's what they don't tell you: that home is only an asset if you sell it. Most people, when they pay off their home, aren't you gonna live in it? So you ain't gonna convert that into cash. But then they got even slicker. They got something called a reverse mortgage. They prey on the old. Okay. They know they can't work, so they go do a reverse mortgage, say, give me your home, and we're going to pay you basically until you die. See, that's just where we are, folks. Consumerism in every shape and form. And we have to guard that. We got to guard our kids. Okay, so don't feel the pressure to do what the world is doing. Do not be conformed to the things of this world, but transformed by the renewing of your mind. Always look and self-evaluate, okay, and be aware of what's happening. So here is our assignment. I'm with you on this, okay? So she said, list below are all 10 commandments. So she's going to walk you through all the commandments. And what I want you to do is assess how these commandments may have impacted your life. Now, there's going to be a critical thinking journaling. This is what you're going to journal today. Okay. You know, if you just got to write down the commandments and put spaces in between, I need you to really think of this. You take about 30 minutes to an hour to think on this. So, you know, the first one, you should have no other gods before me. Okay. Think of ways which money may have become your God. Okay. Listen, all of us, we want certain things. What has become your God? What she said in the last chapter, what is your yoke? Okay. For those who you may have broke the fast yesterday. What made you break the fast? Did you go and say, man, I'm gonna really do it tomorrow? You know, I ain't gonna start today because he just told me today. She just told me today I'm gonna start tomorrow, but I'm gonna do 21 days. I'm gonna do the day after. So you went out to eat. Your yoke is eating out. What is the thing that made you break? That's your yoke. Okay, that's the thing that's tied around your neck that you gotta break. That's the chain that you must break. Okay, that's the God that you must break. Right? Because listen, we're worshiping it. Fast food, eating out, and somebody put Starbucks on here. Yeah, that's why we went and got an espresso machine a couple months ago. Okay, all of this coffee gets made at home. At least I spent $1 instead of $5 on the same dollar cup of coffee, or really 5-cent cup of coffee. Okay, and we saved a lot of money doing that. You shall not make yourself an image in the form of anything heaven above, or on earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. Okay, basically same thing. Okay, worshiping things, coveting things. Okay, so we're gonna go through all these. Does everybody have the book? If not, everybody have the book. If not, let me just walk through all of it. 3, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. She goes, list at least one time in which you curse God for you're not having the things you want. How did that impact your relationship with God? So think about this. How many times you prayed for something, you wanted something, and you didn't get it, and you got mad? Right? We piled it. It's like kids, right? You tell your I correct my kids, but you know, my youngest is the worst right now. He's 6 years old, and when you tell him no, he don't get nothing. He want to stomp off, and I mean, you know what I do? I have him stomp right back. Come here, we're gonna do this the right way. Okay, walk out the right way. Stomp, come back. If we gotta do it 10 times, he gonna learn. Okay, we pout like little kids the same way. That same little 6-year-old, we pout. I didn't get this. Why they get blessed? What do they do? We pout. How many times have you pouted as an adult because you felt that God should have delivered something early for you? Or maybe you even walked away. You walked away. You like, man, I want you to write it down. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Okay, we talked about a scenario with that. People were shopping on the day, right? How often have you skipped going to church to go shopping for those who go to church? Okay, this may not be for everybody, or whatever your foundation is. Skip anything that you're doing. Meditation, whatever your foundation is, okay? How many times have you skipped to go do something of your desires? You know when it happens, I'll give you the days. Christmas and Super Bowl Sunday. Those are the days. Okay? Right. We want to add our own ingredients. Once again. And then the cake don't turn out like it was supposed to because we missed ingredients. Honor your father and mother. We talked about that, right? If you had to move in. Now, listen, my advice, and Michelle talked about this too. If you are deeply in debt and you can't get out, then yeah, move back in with your parents. Save money. Okay, don't go out doing stuff you spend, still going out to eat, still mismanage your money. No, you should be on a strict diet. You should be on a fast the entire time until you're done. Okay, so that is the way to honor your father and your mother if you had to move back in with them. So if you're currently, we call that the boomerang generation, if you're currently living with your mother and father, listen. Okay, right now, generations, there are young men and women that from like 28 all the way to third, some people to their mid 30s, they're living with their parents. And parents know, you can see it. They have no plan of moving out. They actually plan on inheriting the house. Okay, they're gonna stay with you. Okay, make sure they plan on inheriting the house with you. Like the day that you out, okay. Thank you. We're in a boomerang. I'm just telling the truth, y'all. Sorry. But it's up to us as parents, that charge, for real, for us to teach our children. Because where we fail them is not keeping them accountable. Because one day, like I tell my children, one day your dad's not going to be here. And I want you to know everything that I know and more and apply them in your life. And say, what kind of father would I be if I don't prepare my children for my death? And that's a Wakanda thing right there. I remember they said that phrase, wow. But what type of parents would we be if we did not prepare our children for our death? Think about that, because one thing is certain, we all have an appointed time. Okay, so the charge is on us as parents. I was wondering what she said. You should not murder, and I said, okay, where does this apply? And I find like, well, what are we doing here? She goes, recall and write down as many times as you can remember when you said something like, I will kill for that house. I will kill for that purse. I will kill for those shoes. I said, oh my goodness, come on. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Oh my goodness. All right, next one. You shall not commit adultery. Okay, we talked about that scenario there. Whether or not you have been or on that either side, write down your financial impact it can have on your family. Okay, it's an impact, absolutely. Okay, let's say you have dual income, right? These are things you're bringing them to the front. You're making yourself aware. See, when you're aware, the attacks can't come. That's all that this is about. That's all this is. I need you to understand. Just because you don't think about it doesn't mean it's not there. By you becoming aware, you now know, like, block, okay? It's like the old Karate Kid, okay? Knowing when the moves are happening. Because you now see them, we know, okay? You shall not steal, okay? We also understand this is, you're not say it in karma, right? Just put it this way, whatever the golden rule, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Okay? If you steal, you're stealing from someone. Guess what? It's going to be done to you. That's simple, right? Right? We all did breaking the habit of being yourself. Okay, we talk about the brain and what we attract. It's energy that we put out. We get what we put out. We put out good energy, good energy back. We put out bad energy, okay, depending on, we get bad energy back. And then you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Think back and write. She goes, think back and write about any time you badmouth a coworker in hopes of gaining favor with your supervisor. Have you sabotaged someone's career so you could get ahead and earn more money? If so, how do you feel about that now? Wow. So I haven't been in the employment realm, but I know, listen, that's what the corporate world looks like, right? You got to step on the next person's back to get to the top. There's only one CEO. Okay, there's only one COO. There's only one CFO. Okay, and there's a couple executives below that. You got to get a position. And so people really are out there making other people look bad so that they can get that position. Okay, so I want you to think about that time. Once again, it's energy that we're giving out, the energy that we come in. So I want you to take account. That's our assignment right there. Okay, that's your journal. So what this is, I see she's gonna have us do, get that journal like my wife talked about. We all got some journals sitting around. When I found a journal that I didn't finish, I got, my wife was right on. I was like, man, how do you know? She was talking about me. Listen, nobody's safe. Okay, nobody is safe. So journal today. So today is day 2. Okay, if you're trying to figure out how to journal for day 1, I want you to go back. If you didn't journal day 1, okay, here's the assignment for day 1. Okay, and this is really concluding our call here. I'm fired up, folks. Listen, I know there's going to be some powerful testimonies after this. So remember, we did the five fasting tips. So if you didn't write this down yesterday, okay, day 1, okay, get a journal, okay. 2, review your progress. We're being self-aware, self-evaluation. 3, get a highlight. We're going to highlight things in this book that we need to review. 4, get an accountability partner. Okay, don't do this on your own. Get someone that's going to keep you accountable so that you can't evade this. All right, just like going to the gym. What happens when you wake up, you're like, man, maybe I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. Okay, I'm a fast tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow will kill you. Okay, 5, start each day with the pay regimen. Pray. Okay, ask God to reveal how you can handle your finances, give you strength. Act, okay, make your pledge, and then yield. Okay, yield to God, not your own. Yield to God, not your own understanding. And then the daily assignment was to journal obstacles. What is going to be your obstacle? Maybe if you work right now. Okay, how many of you work and on your way to work you have a habit? Listen, remember I said that, have you ever driven and then wonder how you got to work? Okay, your program. Okay, I need you to understand this. So you're going to break some programs. Some of you tried to go to work on your way to work today and still showed up at the gas station, go pick up your soda. You're like, how did I get here? Because you're naturally programmed because it's something you do every single day. Or you found yourself in the Starbucks. How many of you was in the Starbucks drive through the day? Some of you said, I'm going to get my Starbucks. And some of you said, man, dang, it's the fast. And you drove off. You said, I'm going to do my fast. Okay, somebody did it. Chances like it was me. You found yourself in that line, okay? These are your obstacles. You're going to tell yourself what's going to happen before it happens. Listen, I have to go this route to work, and it causes me to go to Starbucks all the time. I'm going to take a different route. I'm not going to go that route for 21 days, okay? Every day that I'm at work, I got to pass the vending machine. Typically, I walk in there and I grab a Snickers bar and I grab whatever. I buy snacks. I buy my lunch. I'm going to stay away from that area. I'm going to avoid, right? You have a cafeteria at your job. Okay. Typically, all the workers, we have lunch together. We sit together. We buy stuff. We buy lunch together. I'm letting them, either they're going to do the fast with me or I can't participate for 21 days. What are your obstacles that you're going to struggle with? Because we're going to use that. You know what you're going to tell me? Okay, listen. Trust me. When it comes to discipline, here's what's going to happen. You're going to sell an excuse. It's your excuse. You can buy your excuse all day long. I was at work all day long and I just have no food and I just had to do it. It became a need. Okay, because I was going to die right there if I didn't eat right then and there. So therefore I went out and I broke my fast. You know, piss poor planning equals piss poor results. Okay, we got to plan for these things. Pack the meal up. Bringing the coffee to work. Hey, the job don't bring the coffee pot to work. Okay? Trust me. If you do this, it is creating a strong muscle. It's no different than going to the gym. If you get through this 21-day fast, let me stop that. When you get through this 21-day fast, okay, all of you, some people are going to say, I can't wait to hear it. I saved $500. I saved $1,000. I saved $2,000. Some of you are going to save a significant amount of money. You know what? For me, let me tell you my struggle. My struggle yesterday, I was writing down. I'll tell you what my yoke is. I was telling my wife, I asked her, I said, does it count if I want to invest? Does that count against the fast? Nah. I'm assuming not. Okay. I'm putting away money. I put away money. Okay, so I put in made money in our brokerage account. So I have a problem. That's what I do. So I'm the person. I grab all the money from the top as soon as it comes in. We pay ourselves first. We have a rule in the house. We pay ourselves first. How do I pay myself? We pay ourselves by investing. So my wife knows that I'm taking minimum 50% of our income. 50% of the income that comes in, I take it. Disappears. You won't even see it. It goes into either silver, it goes into the stock market, okay, or it goes into that's it. Yeah, broker's account is silver and gold. That's and cryptocurrency. That's where our money is going. 50% of our income put away instantly. Okay, we pay ourselves first. A lot of us, we can't pay ourselves first because we're in debt, and that's what I'm charging. I promise you. You know, our life has dramatically changed. Okay, and let me just give you before as we bring this to a close. I know we went kind of over our time. 3 years ago, you'll hear us say it all the time. We were asset rich. We had a lot of real estate, and at the time that we were going through our business stuff, I remember mentors telling us to sell our homes at a time that it wasn't in our benefit to sell our homes. Sell these homes. No, renters are paying us rent. We're good. Okay, I'm not gonna sell my assets so that I can stay over here in this company. And but I knew that our income was just gonna disappear and go away. And so when we were coming into this company, we were making, at that time our income was down to about probably 11, 12, and then we hadn't been paid in a couple months. And so I said, we got to make this move. And so when we made the move, one of the hardest things for me to do as one of the decision makers in the house, one of the hardest things to tell my wife, listen, we're about to downgrade real quick. Okay. And some people are like, did we have to downgrade? In some people's eyes, based on what we were still making, no, we didn't have to downgrade. But what I was looking at was the future. I was saying, wonder if, okay, if I have to keep on paying this, I don't want to, I want to be on the surplus, not on the back end where I'm minusing for my income. I never want income coming in that's going straight out and plus more. You got, most people have income coming in plus more going out, their savings and their paycheck. Okay, that's not how I operate, right? I have a floor, okay? So everybody has a broke floor, okay? Some people call themselves broke when they're really broke, zero and negative. Some people call themselves broke when they have just 10,000. Some people call themselves broke when they just got 100,000 in the bank. Okay. And one day I want to call myself broke when I got $1 million just sitting in the bank. That's when I would say I'm broke, $1 million sitting in the bank. Okay. I want that to be my floor. And so you got to elevate and you got to put that in your mindset. So, when that thing hit for us, we downgraded. And it wasn't the popular decision in my house. Okay. But it was a good decision because we were going to save some money. We did. We downgraded. It took us 1 year. We downgraded, bounced back, and because I have a rule. I will not spend more than 30% of my income on our living expenses. And quite frankly, the truth is I want to keep it at 10%. Okay. That's, when we hit Chairman 25, we went and did our thing again. And that's the world we live in. So you may set some new rules. You're going to realize some things about yourself. And once you start saving, you're going to get addicted. And then you're going to realize that, wow, it just seems like money keeps on coming in. Right? Man, the stock market's up. It's energy that you're bringing to you because your orders are in your affairs are in order. So I ain't gonna go too long. I've already went way too far over our time, folks. That is our day 2. Listen, get those journals on. We're gonna break some chains of poverty in this. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, Miss Webb will be on. I know it used to be me on Fridays and Mondays. Remember, we're going 21 days straight. So we're doing every other day. Miss Webb is going to be on tomorrow. So listen, I love being on my wife's test. She just has a way of bringing some things. She got a way of saying some things that I can't even say. I love the way she says them. Like, man, y'all would be mad at me if I said the things she said. But she has a way of saying them and relating them across to the world, to everyone. And so do not miss any of these days, folks. Tomorrow is our third